Okay, today I'm going to look at trying to repair my reclining sofa. I have a Lane reclining sofa, and the latch on the one side where you release the footstool, it is cracked. It has broken off, as you can see here. So I'm going to look at see if I can repair this. I've gone ahead and ordered a latch from Amazon, but it's a little pricey, and I thought if I could somehow fix this, then I could avoid the cost of having to replace the whole unit. You cannot buy the latch portion of this. The latch does pop out, but I've not found a source to replace just the latch portion of it. You have to replace the whole assembly, and the whole assembly is about $40 on Amazon. So let me show you how I got this off of the sofa, and then we'll look at seeing if we can do something to make it work. Let's get started. So the first step in the process is inverting the sofa upside down so that we can access the cables and detach them so that we can remove the latch. Okay, so to remove the cable so that you can take out the plate, you need to remove this first. You see there's a slot there where it just sticks in the groove here. And once you have that free, you can detach the end of the cable, which is just looped over this mechanism. This is the mechanism that releases the footstool. Once that's out, then you can detach this, and then once that is loose, you're ready to remove the handle. To remove the latch housing, we need to unsecure this single screw, and with that out of the way, we can remove the entire assembly. In order to remove the handle, you see these plastic ends here. To remove the handle, after you got the screw out, you simply push down, and then you can remove the entire assembly. So I wish I could just replace this handle part, because the handle part just pops out. So if I could replace this handle, it'd just be a matter of squeezing this, pulling the cable off, putting the new handle in. But so far I haven't been able to find a replacement handle. Then after I had the new handle, it'd just be a matter of putting this back in. If you put this in upright, snaps right in, and it'd be good as new. So here you can see what happened to this handle. So it just cracked off. It's not a very good way to make this. Should be a solid piece of plastic in my opinion. So maybe there's a way. I'm thinking if I can put a plate, perhaps I can put a plate underneath here to reinforce this, and then glue this back in place, plus glue the plastic, secure the plastic to that thin plate. If I put a metal plate in here, perhaps that would work. Not really sure. Problem is, as you can see, this piece comes flush here, so I may have to shave a little bit off of that if I add to it. I'm not really sure if that'll work. Okay, so I took my latch and I super glued it, and I mounted it in a vise overnight, and it struck me that the latch kind of looks like a belt buckle in shape and size. So it gave me the idea that I might be able to reinforce this by attaching metal to it. It's just a matter of figuring out how to best attach it and determine whether or not I had a belt that would match up in size. Okay, so I kind of rooted through my closet. I found 3 belts that I seldom wear. They're a little bit worn, and they're all a little bit different in size and shape. I thought that this black belt here kind of matched up in size and shape to the latch. So I'm going to disassemble that and see if it might match up. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's my belt latch, and actually that lines up fairly good. Now if this latch is mounted, the pressure is going to be on this side pulling out, so it's going to put a lot of tendency to want to break it here. So I'm thinking it would be best to mount this on the outside, so when pressure is exerted, the pressure is kind of applied to the back of this and should help preserve this. Now my idea would be to essentially glue this in place and then wrap some thin wire around it or something to further secure this in place so that it doesn't move. Of course I'll have to remove this little pin here, and I might just cut out this whole middle part so that it's open there to eliminate that little bar. Okay, to remove this center bar, I'm just going to use a pair of side cuts. That's fairly easy. And now I have it clear. And that's just a matter, this is the flatter of the two sides, so I think I'll glue that in place like so. Okay, so I thought before I took steps to glue that on the top, I would reinsert this to determine how much clearance I had. And I don't know if you can see that, but that comes flush. So in order to have this lay flush, I cannot mount this on the bottom, because if I do, it will prevent this from going flush. So that won't work. So the only way to truly mount this would be on this face side. And I suppose before I reassemble that, I could get some brown paint and kind of touch that up to make it less obvious. But again, it's really not going to be seen because my chair recliner is right next to the sofa where this is reinserted. So you're really not going to see it anyways. And by securing that, it should make it so that it's not going to break again. So before I glue, I noticed this has just a little bit of a bow in it, so I thought I would take this and just grind this flush so that it seats better, lays better on this. It's pretty good the way it is, but I just want to make it a little more flush. Plus, if I roughen up these surfaces of this metal, it might adhere better to the plastic, so we'll go ahead and do that. So that surface looks pretty flat now. Looks really good, and it lays nice and flush on there as well. So I think I'll go ahead and glue that in place. Might work, get my Dremel out and just clean these up before I do that. Okay, so I think when I glue this in place, I'm going to glue it more towards kind of flush with the front of this flapper. And I think that way it'll give me the best opportunity to keep this from from breaking. As you can see, I still have a little bit of a gap there. So what I think I'll do is I'll shave a little more off of this end so that it sits more flush on there. So let's go ahead and shave a little more off. Okay, I did a little more filing and I think I've got it fairly flush there. So we're going to go ahead and secure that with super glue now. So I have my buckle glued in place. I'll let this set for a while, at least a couple hours. We'll go ahead and put this in the bench vise so that we get a nice firm bonding there. So one thing I elected to try is put a little bit of glue mixed with baking soda on here to further ensure that I get a good bonding to this plastic, so metal to plastic. So I'm going to put a bead of glue right along that edge, and into that bead I'm going to sprinkle a little baking soda, and we'll let that set. Doing my piece. And then I took some flat black paint and shot it a couple coats, and it actually looks pretty good overall. I went ahead and I ordered a replacement part on Amazon for this, and I did that just in case this fails. The key to the strength of this is mixing the super glue with the baking soda. I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly the video I saw, but I did see that on YouTube, and I've tried it on a few other applications, and it works extremely well. And so, you know, this may fail. I'm not sure if it will or not. As I mentioned, I'm not real concerned about appearances because it's down on the lower portion of the sofa, so I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this, and we're going to give it a try, just test it to see how it does. And if it fails, I've got a backup plan. That part that I ordered is supposed to be in today, so we can just install that part in lieu of this. So the latch is back in place, and it appears to be working fine. So we just need to reinstall this into the sofa, and we'll pull on it and see if it holds together or not. Let's give it a try. So the first step in reinstalling the latch is inverting the sofa upside down. With the sofa inverted, I can feed the cable through this access hole, and with the cable inside, the first move is you want to push it in this direction so that it latches behind that plate. So you push forward, push in, and pull back. And then that should line the hole up so that we can insert the screw. Viewing this from the inside, the bracket goes in and then inserts on top of the plate. Okay, then at this point, you can take the cable and insert the cable in the notch, like so. Okay, and with the bottom portion of the cable secured, we can take and secure the top portion of the cable first on this mechanism here, and then bring the cable up and snap it in place like so. And then the lever should release the latch. And it does. And more importantly, the latch stays intact. It hasn't broken, which is a good sign. The final step is to re-secure the latch with the screw. And with the screw back in place, let's give it a try and see how it does. So the latch seems to be working just fine. If I find it continues to hold up, I might go ahead and return that part, save myself some of the expense, or I may keep it around just in case this does fail at some point. But for now, seems like that's a perfect fix. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, I got the sofa back in place. The latch is working fine. We'll call this job done. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.